Dear Venerable Brother, Dhamma friends, we are going to start the Dhamma sermon. May you give your consent by saying sadhu sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Itiko bhikkave tathagato datta dattabbang dittang na manyati adittang na manyati dattabbang na manyati dattarang na manyati iti. Dear Venerable Brother, Dhamma friends, we were discussing Kalakarama Sutta that was several months ago. So let me give a little bit of summary of what we have discussed. So this sutta, Kalakarama Sutta, is basically Buddha preached to a certain group of monks who are staying at a particular place called Kalakarama, a kind of a monastery. And it was offered to the Buddha by a person called Kalaka, and he's a wealthy merchant. And basically Buddha went there, and it has happened because of the Chula Subhadra. Chula Subhadra was one of the children of Anathapindika, and she went to that area after her marriage. But one day she asked Buddha, actually she invites Buddha to come over to that area, because Kalaka was not a Buddhist, so he is actually kind of following different faith. Now Buddha arrived there and he delivered Dhamma, and then many people become more faithful, and after that even many monks, actually many lay people become ordained and they became monks. And then those monks were discussing that Buddha has done a great thing, so it is tremendous type of faith is now available. Now even many people have become monks and they are so devoted and they are practicing really well. And this whole area has become very much faithful towards the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha, and now they are offering the alms, etc. So this whole area, there's a big awakening onto the Dhamma. So they are praising about the Buddha's such sublime qualities, and to that assembly Buddha arrived, and he as usual asked, "Monks, what were you discussing?" And Buddha then, the monks then explained, "Okay, Bhante, we were discussing about you, about your sublime qualities." And then Buddha himself taken this opportunity to explain Buddha's quality in a different angle. Not particularly highlighting himself, but as highlighting a Tathagata. You know that Buddha, even though we consider him as a person, as a historical Buddha, but when he attained the Buddhahood, so we can't really say he is a person. So all that personality view, all that sense of I is totally abandoned as a result of the attainment of the Buddhahood. So that's why often he use the term as Tathagata. So we can't consider Tathagata as a person. So even though we see his outlook, the bodily appearance as a person, that personality view, thinking that this body is me, myself, is completely abandoned in the Buddha's mind during his attainment of the Buddhahood. So that is something that we need to keep in our mind. Now we may be talking as the Buddha as a person with, these very beautiful 32 marks, etc., and so very beautiful, attractive appearance. But that is just the outer appearance. But Buddha is not basically considering that outer appearance or that form as a person. That ignorance is completely abandoned in him. So he is now highlighting the qualities of the Tathagata in a way. So that highlighting of those qualities of the Tathagata happens at different levels in this sutta. So it's called different levels called Sarvajñata Bhumi, Shinashrava Bhumi, Satcha Bhumi, Sunyata Bhumi and Tadi Bhumi. Sarvajñata Bhumi. So he talks about his complete understanding. So basically his omniscience. So whatever the subject he wants to know, so he can pay attention to that, so it becomes understandable to him. Whatever the knowledge is known to him, available to him. So likewise, there is no any obstacle for him to know anything. Any subject, any place, any realm, there is no any kind of obstacle for him to know. So such a extraordinary type of capacity was there with respect to the knowledge, the understanding. So therefore he is called an omniscient person. So his omniscience capacity, sarvajñata jnana, that particular very special kind of wisdom is one aspect of the Buddha. Then this sutta is talking about the Shinashrava Bhumi, where he is completely free from the asavas. You know that there are 4 asavas typically we consider: kama asava, bhava asava, avijja asava, dittha asava. Or sometimes we can include dittha asava also into the avijja asava, and we can say 3 types of asavas, influxes: kama asava, bhava asava, avijja asava. So Buddha is an Shinashrava, which is a common characteristic of all the arahants, where they don't have any kind of an asava. They don't have any kind of influx. So all the defilements are fully abandoned, and even the potential of the defilements are abandoned. The latent tendencies are also abandoned. Unlike the typical people who can maintain a pure mind, but the potency to develop them again to arise these defilements is still available. That's the problem. So now if we consider here, now none of us are maybe angry here, but still we can get angry once certain conditions arise. So that's the problem. So even though some may be practicing metta meditation for long period of time, and they may be filled with metta, tons of metta available, but the moment that someone is sort of ill-treating them, or the moment that someone is criticizing them, there's a possibility that anger might arise. Because that latent tendency to anger, what we call the patigha anusaya, is still latent, available in the mind. It's some kind of a latent, hidden level, it's still available. That's why when the conditions are suitable, again anger can arise. So that is why the practice become more difficult. Temporarily you can maintain a fairly good mind filled with loving kindness, but it doesn't guarantee that you never get angry. You can maintain a mind free from lust, but it doesn't guarantee that you never have lust. But the difference between an arahant and such a mundane person is that the arahant, so their minds are completely free from even these latent tendencies, anusaya pahana. So the anusaya, the latent tendencies are also abandoned, asavas are also abandoned, and therefore utterly free, utterly pure. So their mind is completely pure. So that's a very, very interesting and very pure state of mind that they are talking. So Buddha's Shinashrava state is next mentioned in the Sutta, Shinashrava Bhumi. And then actually it is talking about the Satcha Bhumi, where he is affirming his attainment, he is affirming his understanding. There is no one who can challenge it. And his explanation, his dissemination, his preaching, his dispensation, all are very well established. So what he has told can never be reverted, can never be argued, or can never be changed. telling that it is wrong, it has certain defects. To that level, it is well established, firmly established, very well preached. So thorough affirmation of that explanation. So his Buddhahood, his understanding, and the preaching of the Dhamma, what we call his teaching, cannot be argued, in the sense cannot be challenged by someone else. Not only a human, even a Deva, even a celestial person, celestial being, and even a Brahma, even a Mara cannot be challenged. To that level, so his understanding, his preaching is so profound, unarguable, and there is no way to alter it, change it. So such a bhumi is something such profound that the thirdly explained in the sutta. Interestingly, this sutta is very short. It is not a very long discourse. It is not in the long discourses. In the long discourses, Digha Nikaya, this sutta is not in the Digha Nikaya. This is in the Anguttara Nikaya. It's a very short sutta. That's very interesting. But the information, the teaching included in the sutta is very, very profound. So it may need a lot of other supportive sutta to explain it even. And we have to slowly go to the depth of the sutta, and we need to find the path to reach the bottom or the depth of the sutta. That's why I am taking a little long time here. But otherwise, the sutta itself is a very short sutta. And probably you might have heard about the historical evidence of this sutta, what has happened in Sri Lanka. And one monk called Kalabuddha Rakkita, he has explained this very sutta completely overnight, spending hours continuously without any intervals, any resting period. He has completely explained this sutta throughout the whole night. Short sutta, by the way. So depending on the preacher's capacity, it may be able to explain further and further. And depending on our each individual's capacity, we may be able to see the depth of it. So to that level, it is so profound. And the next part of the sutta is entirely based on the practice. It's called Sunyata Bhumi. So based on the emptiness, so he is now talking, he is explaining. So that's what we have now come to. And we already explained the previous stages, and we step into the Sunyata Bhumi during the last time when I was explaining it. And there also I have explained to some extent, but I like to redo it to some extent. So Sunyata, the term, is a very popular term, and there are certain teachings even after the Buddha's passing away. Many other monks have taken into account, and therefore various other traditions also have happened because of these explanations. Anyway, in one sense we can talk about the anatta. You might have heard about the anatta, right? Anicca, dukkha, anatta. So we may be feeling, certain feelings are coming and going, arising and passing away. Say, pleasurable feeling has arisen, now it has passed away. Painful feeling has arisen, it has passed away. A lustful thought has arisen, now it has passed away. A desire has arisen, it has passed away. Maybe an angry thought has arisen, it has passed away. Maybe hardness has arisen, it has passed away. Now we can recognize passing away, arising and passing away, this impermanent nature as a common characteristics. So it's a kind of, as a definition is explained in the Anupada Sutta, ahutva sambonti hutva pativenti. Without not being, it is now arising due to causes, but immediately it passes away. Without a remainder, like that. So therefore, very quick arising and passing away, this transient nature is something one may be thoroughly understanding as one is growing in his Vipassana practice. So the anicca characteristics, the impermanent characteristics, is the avenue for our, say, a deeper understanding of the impermanence in a way. But interestingly, so your understanding is not limited to impermanence, anicca, but itself is a very profound understanding. It itself is capable of abandoning asava, anusaya, everything. So it is not a small thing. It is not a very narrow understanding. Rather, it's a very profound understanding. But someone's attention might be drawn to the dukkha, the unsatisfactoriness characteristic. As we already discussed during our question and answer session, so yadaniccang tan dukkhang. So the more one understands the impermanent characteristic, so one can naturally tends towards the dukkha, thinking that okay, all these phenomena are subject to arising and passing away. It's a kind of a torturing situation. They're constantly oppressed by this arising and passing away. No one can stop it. So it's a common characteristic to all the conditioned phenomena. No one can stop it. Either you like it or not, it will arise and pass away. It constantly change. So therefore we can't expect permanent happiness, permanent kind of a pleasure from any conditioned situation, because it is subject to change. Therefore it is dukkha, it is unsatisfactory. So your attention might divert towards the understanding of the dukkha, the suffering aspect of the phenomena, anicca and then dukkha. Now we can step into the anatta, where when things are arising and passing away, when constantly arising and passing away happens, so how can I have a unchanging state? How can I have an unchanging soul? How can I have an unchanging self? So then you may find, okay, there can't be such an unchanging self, eternal self. So it is therefore anatta, non-self. You can't find a permanent self, eternal self, unchanging self. So that is one way of understanding anatta. Another way of understanding anatta is that the situation is uncontrollable. Now we feel a little bit of cold. The environment has changed, the climate has changed. We have to adapt to it, but we can't change it. We may be trying to change it by putting a heater or air conditioner, fans and all these things. That's what we are trying to do. We have very limited controllability, but most of the time it is uncontrollable. Very good example is our own bodies. So we can say our own bodies. Please mindful about the language. So we have to use that common terminology to explain. Even though we say it is my body, but this very body get old. This very body gets sick. Even a mosquito can make you into a trouble. And chikungunya, right? So, and all this malaria and chikungunya and all these things are there. Even a little mosquito can make this body sick. So how can we say, okay, this body is mine? This body has complete controllability. So therefore, it's a very feeble, very weak body we all are having, even though it appears like beautiful and strong and etc. Even a little thing can make it deform, make it sick, make it ill. So therefore, you can't stop the aging process. You can't stop the getting ill. And you can't stop the death. Either you like it or not, it's going to die. So you can't have a completely beautiful body forever, and you get old. So likewise, so this very body is uncontrollable. I mean, even though I say it's as my body, even though I refer it like that, so we can argue, okay, this body also not self. It is not subjected to my control. It's not governable. So that is another aspect of the anatta, non-governability. And another aspect is, it is when a process is constantly arising and passing away, when it is completely inconstant, impermanent, so internally can there be a source or a core or something substantial? Now say for example the body. So we think it is something substantial, something beautiful, something unique. But more you analyze it, more you penetrate it, you may understand, okay, it consists of various body parts. Further you analyze, you may get the elements. Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, even the Akasa, the earth element, the air element, heat element, water element, space element. So different elements are there. So it's a continuous flux, continuous arising and passing away. So where are you going to find a kind of a nucleus? Are you going to find a core? Are you going to find an unchanging, substantial something? So there you will find, okay, there is no such thing. And there is nothing substantial. That is another aspect of anatta, sometimes called as asarako. You can't find a hard core. You can't find something hard wood in a core. Everything become insubstantial. Another aspect of anatta. So in that sense, it is empty. And it is useless. It doesn't have something substantial. Therefore, it is hollow. So aspect is called tucca. And it is empty, ritta. And then now we can go to the sunyata. It's another aspect. So therefore, sunyata is an aspect of anatta. So different aspects of anatta is available. And sunyata is another profound aspect of anatta. So at one time, Venerable Ananda asked a beautiful question. Sunyo loko bhante ti vucchati, kittavatanuko bhante sunyo loko ti vucchati. Bhante, it is mentioned, empty of the world, empty is this world. So why is it mentioned like that? And then Buddha answers telling, so this is available in the Sunya Loka Sutta. And there Buddha, in Salayatana Samyutta, and then Buddha gives the answer, Sunyamidang attenava attaniyenava. So this whole world is empty of a self and what belongs to a self. So that's why it is called Sunyata, Sunya Loka. So that is the kind of a Buddhist explanation or the definition of Sunyata, empty of a self and empty of what belongs to a self. Now let's little explore this statement, empty of a self. Now we already discussed to some extent. To analyze it further, now we can describe it using the 5 aggregates. Say this is body. So we feel this body. We can touch it, we feel it, we can name it, we can label it. And that can give you a wrong perception. It is solid. It is something substantial. And say I can touch this clock. Therefore it is something substantial. Therefore something is there. An object is there. A person is there. Right? So that is the typical wrong understanding, or we can say misunderstanding, wrong perception, where we tends to objectify and we tends to impose a person. And that is what we have learned, and that is what we have sort of taught to our children, and we ourselves, that is what we being taught. You are so and so. You are an individual, you are a person. You are a man, you are a woman. And now you are a mother, you are a father, you are an engineer, you are a doctor, you are an accountant, you are a writer, you are a journalist, you are a teacher, you are a monk, you are a layman. So likewise we have used so many different types of labels in the world. All have some kind of a purpose. That's why people are using it, right? All these are having some kind of a relative purpose. That's why people are using them. And it is useful. Now if there is a toilet and and if it is not properly named, so while the woman is there, if man goes there, then a trouble can happen. So there is better to name it. Okay, this is a male toilet, this is a female toilet. That's a purpose, to maintain kind of a ethical background and a comfortable situation. Okay, we name them. Okay, this is for men, this is for women. That is a kind of a purpose. But on the other hand, we can argue, sometimes we take things too serious, too solid, and more than that purpose, more than that conventional purpose, we go beyond that thing, expecting it is something readily available, permanently available. And we forget that it is a name, it is a label, it is a convention given by the world. So we as human beings have come to an agreement, okay, let's call this arrangement as a female body. Let's tell this arrangement as a male body. Let's tell this arrangement as a clock. And clock is there for a particular purpose. Okay, this is simply to know the time. Therefore, its purpose is to tell you the time. So let's have an agreement. So everywhere, when you want to see the time, know the time, okay, you are looking at a clock. Or you wear a watch. So likewise, you know the purpose of a watch, purpose of the clock. And now you can easily communicate. You can ask from a person, if you want to buy a clock, if you want to buy a watch, you can go there and you can ask for that. Then he might not give you a spectacle when you ask a watch. The purpose is different and we have used different labels. There is a purpose. Now, if we disassemble this watch or clock, this one, disassemble, what you would get? Little pieces are there. So 2 batteries are there. So this digital watch. So the 2 batteries are here. And there you have some black color marks. You can remove them. There are 3 or 4 little sticks. You can remove them. Then there is a white color sheet. You can remove that. And there are many other little electronics parts. You can remove them, disassemble them. So once you disassemble them, so where is the clock? So likewise you can argue and understand, logically you can understand, even though once it is assembled in a particular style, we give it a name as a clock, in the essence there is no something called a clock. It's a name given. It's a label that we all have agreed. So therefore, likewise, we can argue all these conceptual names, labels that we have assigned to many situations are mere labels, mere conventions. Now assume now we have experienced rain. Is it a name? Is it a noun? Or is it a verb? Is it a task? Is it an activity? What do you think? So using the language, we can use the language in many different ways. We can give it a name. This is the rain. So when we tell it as a rain, we can objectify. We get a kind of a perception it is something solid. But can you find a raining, or can you find a solid rain apart from raining activity? The raining is a kind of an activity, right? Raining is a kind of an activity. But we can name it as this kind of a rain. Say, wind is a kind of an activity, but nowadays people are giving names even to the wind. Recently, I think, to Australia, I think Alfred came. To US, I think Melissa came. Now it's gone. Melissa also came to US, it has gone. So who is Melissa? So these are the, you can understand. So we have given names to the wind, to this turbulence, to this cyclone. So we have given names. Why is that? It's easy to tell, okay, it's rather than many cyclones are available, no? So which cyclone are you referring? In 2023 also assume that there was a cyclone. 24 also there was a cyclone. 25th also there was a cyclone. In January also there was a cyclone. In April also there was a cyclone. So how are we going to differentiate them? Okay, let's give them different names. Okay, in January Alfred came. In April Melissa came. Maybe in December Abraham can come. Who knows? Or Santa can come. In Christmas, no? Anyway, so therefore we can see that people are very clever in giving names. But when we give such names and labels, and we are in a way solidifying things, and we forget that it's a cyclone, it's a kind of a process. There is a vacuum happened, and then the gathering of the air happened from other directions, and you can understand how the cyclone or this kind of a whirlpool or whatever it is being generated. You can understand the real scientific way that you can understand how it is being generated. But once we give a name, we forget that. Instead we perceive it as something solid, something permanent, something existing, and something which has existed, and something going to exist. And we get the wrong notion of persistence, existence. And likewise, so everywhere in this whole universe, we are in a way clever to have separate windows, separate slices, and give names, give different conventions, but ignorantly we think they are existing. There is something. So what is this human? What is this human? Is it a noun? Is it a name? Is it a process? Human body is something permanent, something solid. So if you go to, say, fair amount of deep science, so people can argue, okay, it's also a process, right? Digestion is a process. Breathing, process. Blood circulation, process. Visualization, so seeing, a process. Hearing, a process. Smelling, process. Tasting, process. Touching, a process. So any other than processes, other than activities, can you find anything in the body? Any gem, maybe a marble, or something solid, something substantial, maybe a diamond or something inside your stomach go. Yeah, what's that? Urine, what's that? I can't remember. If there is a gem, you will be in a big trouble. Inside the body, if you find a gem, a big trouble, right? So it has to be a process. Wherever available are mere processes, but we have given names. But the moment that we have given a name, the moment that we have given a label, we get trapped in it. So with the name, with the label, we are attributing a certain kind of a permanency, certain kind of an objectification, certain kind of an individuality. We are putting a person there. We are putting an individual there. We are putting an object there. We make something. Where there is nothing, we make something. So therefore, in Mulapariyaya Sutta, the very first sermon, very first sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya, so Buddha very beautifully mentioned, so how four persons are perceiving or understanding of this world. So we already discussed, say for example, we were born as an infant, and then our mother, father slowly explain us, okay, this is an apple. Okay, this is a dog. This is cat. Okay, this is your doll. So this is your mother, this is your father, this is your son, say brother, sister. So slowly we understand them as individuals, as person. And this is your name. And various say this is a table, this is a chair. So likewise different animate and inanimate objects are there. Persons are there, individuals are there, animals are there. So this is what we learned. And then different countries are there. So likewise all these have become very permanent, existing realities to us. But when we are dealing with the others, so we have to use them, understood. So you have to talk using these words, you have to talk using these labels. Then only the others can understand, because they also went through the education, I also went through the education. So the education, wherever you get, okay, these labels are being explained, these names are being explained. So what purpose a clock being used is explained. So you are learning. So slowly. So then when you meet another person in another country, so we can communicate, because everybody has agreed to this kind of a convention, understood. So this is, other than this, anything else? So this is what it is, right? So we learn the names, we learn the labels, and we learn this is the clock, and this is a mic, and this is a spectacle, and this is a robe, and this is a chair, and this is a cup, etc., etc., etc. So we all understood that. Other than that, anything wrong here? So we perceive like this. So this is the typical understanding, the typical way of perception of the typical worldly beings. So when we are operating like this, we can easily get attracted to something, we can easily get attracted to someone. We can hate something and we can hate someone, because someone is there, something is there. So they are prone to defilements in a way, because someone is there, a particular individual is there, and there is something substantial. So you can easily generate various kinds of likes and dislikes around that thing, around that someone. So that's the little bit of a tricky part. Even though we find some kind of a purpose, kind of a benefit in labeling, naming, adding all these words, adding all these conventions, even though there is a purpose, but that very conventional task has made the mind fairly confused, and we end up with a kind of an ignorance, and we end up with a lot of defilements. So we get tangled in it, and our mind get filled with so much of information about things, information about individuals. Say you love a car, say you want to buy a Tesla, a BYD. Nowadays people are having various dreams, no? And new generation, whatever. Okay, now if you are dreaming about it, and you find a quotation, and you go there and you get it, and you dream about it, and you call to your friends and how to buy it, and if you don't have enough money, you go to a bank or lease. So you are planning about it. So your mind is now filled with what? Things. Car, BYD. So your mind is filled with BYD. So if you are against BYD, let me tell as Tesla. Okay, all these have now become very solid, right? Now you are not even referring it as a car. You are using the trade names. Even to that level, we have become very, kind of biased. You are more biased into Chinese thing. Okay, now you prefer BYD. If you bias more towards the US, okay, you will prefer Tesla. Even to that level, our mind has conditioned. We don't simply want a car. You don't simply want a car, right? You want a BYD. You want a Tesla. See, our mind being really conditioned, further kind of fabricated. So by these different sellers, marketing people, for you to like that particular brand even, to ask that particular brand even. So we are being fairly conditioned every day. Throughout the day we are being conditioned, our mind being conditioned. Through the advertisements, through our associates, through the news, through various kinds of, say, media, social media, blah blah. So many things are there, so that our mind being constantly conditioned. So you are not expecting a mere car now, you are expecting a particular brand also now. So likewise, we are being further and further conditioned. But now, say someone is developing certain amount of Vipassana and he's trying to understand what's really going on. And as we simply argue like that, so if you try to disassemble all these different equipment, it may be a car, it may be a clock, it may be a recorder, it may be a mic, it may be a, say, a train, bus, van, whatever it is. So once you disassemble them, divide them into little pieces, little components, you can't find any of the car. Not a Tesla, not a BYD, not even a car available. So this is a accumulation of so many components that we have given a name. So likewise, so when you are logically reasoning out, when you are logically understanding, thoroughly reflecting, contemplating, you may find, okay, even though there is a purpose to these labels, names, conventions, unfortunately, by given too much emphasis to it, I get trapped in it. Our mind gets trapped in it. And it's prone to defilements, prone to arouse a strong desire to it. And you can even argue with someone, okay, this is good, this is better than the other thing. As I mentioned, we have certain personal biases. Say if you bias towards the Chinese products, and if you hate American products, you can have an argument with another person who has the opposite. And we can even have a kind of a battle, a trade war. Nowadays, people are going through, right? So one country want to highlight their products, another country want to highlight their products, and they want to sell as much as possible, and there's a trade war. So likewise, so all these labels, all these names, all these conventions, once we forget their reality, we get trapped in the convention. We get trapped in the concept. So in a way, the mindfulness practice and the Vipassana practice help us to little bit of disassembling this whole thing. To little bit unwind this tangle, so that the mind becomes untangled. So you open up and see what's really there. And is there a really clock here available? Or is it a accumulation and combination of so many little components, parts? So likewise, in Dhamma, so we are trying to do a little bit of, in one sense, kind of a logical analysis, but that alone is not enough. We have to go to a deeper understanding of experiential knowledge. So that's why certain Vipassana techniques like Dhatu Manasikara, the elements meditation, takes you to a more deeper understanding about these, whatever the physical phenomena. And you go to the constituent parts of this whole physical entities. You are going to the very primordial constituent parts. So one explanation of this whole physicality is using the 4 elements. Or if you want to add space, you can say 5 elements. The solidity, fluidity, heat, and the movement, we can say. And nowadays, this scientists have come up with another way of explanation, using atoms and atomic particles and all these things. But Buddha has come up with another easy to understand, and experientially you can experience kind of explanation using the elements. And more you explain like that, or more you experience like that, again and again probably your mind will question that old habitual conventional understanding. Say for example, say you are practicing elements meditation. Assume that you are in the walking session and continuously you are experiencing the characteristics of the earth element, water element, air element, heat element. Continuously, say 1 hour. So you are moving your legs and you are moving your all this whole body, and again you are practicing for whole time. You are experiencing mere element characteristics for whole 1 hour, and you couldn't solidify it. Instead, you are experiencing the changing movements, vibrations, hardness, softness, roughness, smoothness, heaviness, lightness, vibrations, heat, cold, so etc., etc. Then your mind might question, where am I? Where am I? So previously our perception is there is me here, there is I here, I am the one walking, I am the one staying in Kalalgoda. But as you practice for 1 hour continuously, for example, in this way, in the elements understanding, so there you can't perceive a solid I, a compact body. There is no compact body now. That compactness is abandoned. Instead, you get a moving, changing, transient process of elements. So where is I now? Where is male now? Where is female now? Where is leg now? Where is head now? So all are mere conventions, all are mere labels, all are mere names. So therefore, at least for 1 hour, we have experienced to some extent the non-self. To some extent, you have experienced the non-self. But it doesn't mean that we deny that I am a male, you are, say, another person is a female. It's not a kind of an argument. Rather, we can respect it, we can keep it there. But there's another underneath understanding, a thorough understanding, that even though they are labels, names, it also has a purpose. But in reality, there is no person here, there is no individual here, there is no male or female here. What this body consists is mere elements, mere element characteristics. So, and you can even generalize it to the outside. So, outside also, what you are experiencing is the wind, you are experiencing is the vibrations, the movements, heating and cooling, say, hardness, softness, roughness, even the outside world, nothing but mere elements. So our previous demarcations, our different, dividing into various windows, dividing into various categories, all become nullified, all become useless, because everything appear like a common characteristic everywhere. What you are available in the whole physical world is nothing but elements, in a way. So, can you have defilements to the elements? Now, if you come to this kind of an understanding, so where can you have the male? Where can you have the female? Where can you have the clock, mic, Sri Lanka, India, China, USA? So at that level of understanding, so these all become useless, right? They become negligible, and you understand, okay, they are mere characteristics. They are mere conventions. So you keep the conventions as conventions, and you keep this understanding is more profound, more valid, more acceptable. So therefore, in a way, the more you practice, so you find you are like what's that, the English term for uraga? Sorry, not uraga. What's that? That living in the water as well as in the ground. What's the English word for that? Amphibian? Amphibian, right? Okay. You are like an amphibian now. So you have to respect the conventional world and you have to live in the conventional world. You have to respect that also. But internally you have another type of an understanding. Even though I am a mother, there is no really a mother here. Even though I am a father, there is no really a father here. Even though I am a doctor, really there is no doctor here. Even though I am a monk, there is no really a monk here. Can we play like that? So typically what happens is, say you are a manager in a particular institution. You are a CEO in a particular institution. And after the working hours, now you are traveling by your own car. And now you want to the word doesn't come to my mind. Take over? Not take over. Pass? Overtake. Yeah. Overtake another vehicle. Say a bus filled with so much of commuters, so much of passengers. But you did the wrong way, by the way. But you are a CEO. Assume that you did the wrong thing and somehow the bus driver and he stopped the vehicle and somehow you didn't make with an accident. But everybody, including the driver and the passengers, started blaming you. What the fool you are doing like this, and don't you follow the, this road signs and all that? What do you feel? So during on the road, are you a CEO or are you a driver? So you basically are another driver, right? You have to respect the road rules. You need to respect the road signs. So your executive designation is at your office. But here it's a common area. Now we all are working. We all are sharing. So we all have to respect the common rules, which is adhered by the rules, the government, whatever, in that particular area. Okay, you have to adhere to those rules, regulations. But if you neglect that, then you are in trouble. So that's a temporary designation, only valid when you are doing that particular job. But what happens often to us, so we impose that designation even at the road. Even at the road, you want to be the CEO. Even at the road, you want to be the doctor. Even at the road, you want to be the lawyer. So you want to take the law to your hand. That's what sometimes happens. So others have to behave according to you. They have to respect you. So this kind of a mentality being developed in our mind. So we forget this is a mere convention. So these people want to take a certain job done through you. So they have assigned a name to you. They have assigned a particular designation to you to take that job done. Right? Certain people have to obey you or agree with you or kind of respect you or just to do a certain task. That's why you are given that designation. But once that we have taken that too high, too solid, so we can't keep it aside when you are coming out of the office. We take it to even to the home and say now you are trying to put it to your wife also. Put it to your husband also. Now this is a real story one of my friends told me recently. Don't ask me who has told that. So recently his wife got a promotion. Now she's the DG. You know who is DG? Deputy, what's that? Director General in a particular institution. You know that DG is a fairly respectable position in the whole thing, right? So after coming home, So now when she becomes a DG to the husband, so for our foolish mind, easily assume these positions, assume these designation, and now you want to be the DG even at the home. So you can't respect the husband, you can't respect your child, and you can't just be the housewife at the home and just enjoy the family environment because you are a DG now. So all these conventions are like this. All the conventions are like this. So we forget about the purpose and we impose that as a permanent something, a particular permanent thing, and we objectify that designation. We attribute a permanency into that. And we want to maintain that. And even when someone dies, so you say, okay, DG has passed away. Not a human being, but a DG has passed away. No human beings pass away these days. Say the doctors pass away, engineers pass away, no human beings, unfortunately. So you're being named by those designations. But we forget about this is a mere name, this is a mere label, just to fulfill the particular task that we are using. It has a purpose, yes. But unfortunately, so we are overusing them, overimposing them, and we identify with them. But when you are thoroughly understanding the purpose, when you thoroughly understanding through the Vipassana, then your that conventional mind start dropping it when it is necessary. You can do the task, you can do the purpose, make use of it when there is a need, but at another time you can keep it aside. You become humble, you become a human, and you become more and more human. And you can understand, okay, yes, and there I am a DG, yes, true. I am a doctor, I am an engineer, I am an executive, doesn't matter. But here, I am playing another role. So we all are playing different roles, but it doesn't mean I am that. The role is not myself. Designation is not myself. The job description or job designation is not you. No, don't take it so serious. Don't take it so permanent. So, a yogi who is practicing Vipassana, therefore has another way of understanding. So that's what I mentioned him as a kind of an amphibian. So when he is dealing with the typical conventional world activities, he can work on that. He is confident in that, competent in that. But when he want to keep it aside, he is no one. So can you be no one in a way? Very much like being no one. So you understand, okay, this is a mere convention. This body is a mere process. Feelings are mere process. Perceptions are mere process. Thinking, thoughts are mere process. So you can't find a permanent thought. Say in the morning you had a lustful thought. Now you have angry thought because I am spending too long time. So which one is you? Lustful thought or angry thought? Which one is you? I mean, no point of asking even like that. It's an invalid argument, right? So, but the problem is the thoughts condition the mind to think that I am that. I am a lustful character. I am an angry character. So thoughts, so this is my idea. So we have a kind of a perception, okay, idea is my idea. Thought is my thought. So likewise, we possess even the thoughts. We like to assume this thinking is my thinking. So this is where we need to awaken. So they are mere conventions, they are mere thoughts. So can we keep thoughts as mere thoughts? Can we regard conventions as mere conventions? Can we keep designations as mere designations? job descriptions as mere job descriptions, and then understand, okay, here it's a process going on. In the mentality also there are processes going on. In the ultimate sense, there is no self. So this is one way of looking at it. And the Kalakarama Sutta is so profound. So the Kalakarama Sutta is taking to a very higher profound levels. So let's talk that on tomorrow. So basically I want to highlight to understand the difference between convention and the reality in a way. So conventions are mere conventions. There is a meaning for that. There is a purpose for that. We can respect that. But it doesn't mean it is the reality. So we need to find out the reality. We need to find out the true nature. And that is where the Vipassana help us to look at what we call as an individual, what we call as something from a different angle. Vipassana. The term Vipassana also has another connotation, a definition telling looking at from a different angle. Not that conventional angle, but looking from a different angle, which may be challenging your traditional, habitual way of thinking. And time to time, you therefore feel like alienated. You don't belong to the world like. So you're thinking differently. Your mind is questioning. Your mind is questioning this traditional thinking. Your mind is questioning this traditional perception. Instead, you are now looking from a different angle. So the Vipassana is for that, and inviting you to explore in that. I'll conclude today's Dhamma sermon. Thank you very much for attentive listening. Okay, there's a little sharing of merits. Today lunch dana was provided by Dinesha, Manisha and Ranjani. May they be blessed with good health, courage and Kalyana Mitta association to progress in the Dhamma path. Okay, so the whole day we were gathered here and fair amount of dedication we all have showed, and you all have practiced to the best of your ability and participated in a Dhamma discussion and listened to a Dhamma sermon and offered dana. So many different ways you all have contributed. So all these merits what we have accumulated, let's share with all our past relatives. We share these merits with all the celestial beings, and we share these merits with whoever in need of merits. And we wish these merits help us also to understand the Buddha's teaching and to abandon the ignorance and to attain path, fruition, nibbana. We'll recite the traditional verses. Ettavataja amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Ettavataja amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Ettavataca amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Akasatthaca bummatta devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakkantu sasanang. Akasatthaca bummatta devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakkantu desanang. Akasatthaca bummatta devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakkantu mamparang. Idang vo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බාන පත්තියා. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now I'd like to make a kind of a little note that some of you requested to meet me, so you are free to meet just after the sermon.